1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honey Bee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. I am one of your hosts, Precious D.
And I am the other one of your hosts, Honey Bee.
Honeybee and I are two best friends making our way through the history of kaiju movies. We started in 1933 with King Kong, and now we're up to 2012 with a Irish movie, I guess. United Kingdom and Ireland co-production, it says here. Grabbers from 2012.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, let's say Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year's! So long, 2024. See ya never. Love ya, mean it.
It was a hell of a year, but I'm sure this year will be a hell of a year too. It'll be just one damn thing after another.
So optimistic, Precious.
Ugh, God.
Don't get him started. Don't get him started.
Do not get me started. Let's just talk about Grabbers. Speaking of, I said we were not going to talk about Trump. These are different Grabbers.
Oh my god. Oh wait, I'm supposed to remind you about the Superman trailer.
Oh yeah. There's a kaiju in it, folks. If you haven't seen the trailer yet for the new Superman movie, go watch it on YouTube when we're done here. There's a kaiju in it, which I guess shouldn't be too much of a surprise, because in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, there was a kaiju. It was Starro, the Conqueror, who is from the comic books, but it is a giant monster, and it was described as a kaiju in the movie. And there appears to be one in this movie, and I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to this movie in general. Honeybee, did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, I did watch it. I'm looking forward to it for you, but I really don't care as much.
I just hated pretty much everything that's been going on in DC movies since Zack Snyder took over. So I'm very happy that that's all done. Mm-hmm. And we're moving into the James Gunn era. So I'm not crazy about the suit design, but all the rest of it looks good. So I am cautiously optimistic that we will get a good Superman movie. It's got crypto in it, so there you go.
Well, I am looking forward to it for you.
I'm sure we'll do a Patreon episode when it comes up.
Yeah, we should.
Well, I mean, it depends on how heavily the kaiju factors into the movie. Maybe we'll just do a regular episode.
That's true, but it'll take us a while to get there.
Yeah. Anyway, Grabbers is from 2012. It's 94 minutes, a United Kingdom and Ireland co-production. Directed by John Wright, written by Kevin Lahane. It's 94 minutes in color. The budget is $5.3 million, and the box office was $440,821.
Ouch!
I guess U.S. dollars.
No way.
I'm trying to see if it had a wide release, though. So it premiered at Sundance and then was at the Edinburgh International Festival. It had a bunch of festival runs at various other places, and then had its Irish premiere in July as the opening film for the 24th Galloway Film Fleadha, which I'm guessing is Irish for festival.
Good guess.
So maybe it only had festival releases and then went to, streaming or whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure how we should view that those numbers, because it's gotten mostly good reviews.
Yeah, all the like things I saw were like great review wise.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, if it didn't have a full theatrical release and was really just meant for television, then that's maybe not as bad as it sounds. The cast is Richard Coyle as Garda Kieran O'Shea. Have you seen him before, Honeybee?
I don't
seen him
think so. I don't think so.
We'll come back to him, but I've seen him in a few things. Ruth Bradley as Garda Lisa Nolan. Russell Tovey as Dr. Smith. Laylor Roddy as Patty Barrett. David Pierce as Brian Maher. Brona Gallagher as Una Maher. Pascal Scott as Jim Gleason. Ned Dennehy as Declan Cooney. Celia Murphy? Celia? I don't know. Clelia. Clelia Murphy as Irene Murphy. Lewis Dempsey as Tadga Murphy. It's a Gaelic name. Stuart Graham as Skipper. Michael O'Gruin as Father Potts. Another Gaelic name. Sorry. Darren Watt as Tommy. In parentheses, it says Islander. Okay, I think they were all living on an island, weren't they? I don't know. Honeybee, initial thoughts on Grabbers?
Initial thoughts, man, this is a gem, I think. I feel like this movie is super underrated. The tone of the movie is, in the beginning, kind of starts out like, you understand that it's supposed to be comedy, but it doesn't quite hit the mark. And then somewhere over half point of the movie, it just gets hysterical. And I just had a blast watching this movie. I absolutely cannot wait to watch it again. It's definitely one that I will add to my list of things, one that I will show other people. I think this movie is such a gem, and I think it is very underrated. And I think that the comedy is pure gold.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I did feel that the movie was bordering on being a hate crime. If it weren't an Irish co-production, the idea that the way for the Irish to fight an Irish kaiju is to get drunk just seemed a bit of a stereotype.
But I think it's a stereotype that the Irish will be proud of. They'd be like, yeah, fuck that kaiju. Pour whiskey down its face. And then someone would be like, don't you dare waste that whiskey.
Yeah. I just thought it was getting perilously close to being racist. But since it was an Irish-made movie, then they're just making fun of themselves, and that's okay. If it had been a skit on an English TV show made in England, that would have been different. But these were Irish people. I'm going to assume that the writer and director are Irish. Yes, John Wright is from Northern Ireland, which is the independent part of Ireland, which is where this takes place. No, I'm sorry, that's backwards. Northern Ireland is part of Britain. Ireland is Ireland. Northern Ireland's part of Britain. So, anyway.
I will say also something about this movie, like right out the jump. I think that the acting in this movie, for what it is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, for it being the, like, comedy that it is, and just, like, the tone of the film, everybody in this movie, there's not a single person in this movie that I was like, man, that guy really sucked, or, like, I don't really like that guy. Like, all of the people in this movie, men and women alike, were top tier acting-wise, and it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Believable. Yeah. They were very believable.
I agree. Richard Coyle, I said I'd come back to him. I know him from the sitcom Coupling. He played Jeff Murdoch in the sitcom Coupling. More recently, he was Father Faustus Blackwood on The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. So he was, he's the lead of the film, and he's probably the most well-known person in the film. I don't know about I didn't recognize the main woman, Garda Lisa.
I didn't either. I didn't really recognize anyone from this movie, but I will say it from the very beginning of the movie, I was like, oh my God, Lisa is fucking adorable. Like, her enthusiasm, I'm obsessed. I'm living for Lisa. And by the end of the movie, I was like, I want to marry Lisa. She's adorable.
She was. So it takes place in Ireland, not Northern Ireland, and we said two of the characters their title was Garda. That's a guard. It's a police officer. They're the national police of Ireland, but they call them Garda, which means it's the Garda Shoshana, which means Guardians of the Peace. So they're the police. And let's get into the plot, which we have from Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. Garda Kieran O'Shea, Richard Coyle, an alcoholic, initially resents his new partner, Garda Lisa Nolan, a workaholic seeking to impress her superiors by volunteering for temporary duty in a remote Irish island. The chief, I guess, is going on. It looks like it's only a 2-man police force.
Yeah.
And the chief is going on vacation, so they send someone to help cover.
Yeah, but before we meet any of these people, we kind of start like in the middle of the ocean. We see like something crash into the ocean, and then these guys on a boat like, hey, do you see anything? And then like, man overboard. And then something just like Steve Irwin's this guy just shanks him right through the heart. And then it's like, boom, title sequence.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. It like starts right out the jump and right out the gate. And then we like meet these like people.
Yes, there's some kind of a shooting star lands in the ocean. So our grabbers appear to be from outer space and are maybe not even here on purpose. We don't really find out any of that stuff.
Which I kind of love that about it.
Yeah. So, and O'Shea is saying, as the chief's getting ready to go, and he's saying, I could handle it myself. I don't need a substitute. I could do it myself. And the chief says to him, you could, but you won't. So this is when we find out that O'Shea is competent but drunk.
Yeah.
But he has reasons for that. So anyway, the new officer, Lisa, played by Ruth Bradley, shows up. After discovering mutilated whale corpses, the quiet community slowly comes to realize that they're under attack by blood-sucking tentacled aliens of various sizes that come from a ball of green light that fell from the sky, dubbing them grabbers.
Okay, well, we gotta talk about how that freaking happens. We gotta start with this guy. Is it Patty? Of course, it's Patty.
Yes, they're about to mention him.
Yeah.
They called him the town drunk, and I'm like, well, how can you tell?
Yeah, I think we got a few of those. It's fine. It's fine.
He's the most drunk, but he's not the only drunk.
Yeah, well, he catches like a small little grabber and like squirts him in the eye, like takes it back to his house and like puts it in his tub. But when they're like the scientists, I think it's like Dr. Smith or something, when they're on the I love whenever the guy's like, what are you, a marine psychologist? That made me laugh. Marine psychologist is hilarious.
Yeah. And it's funny because there seems to be something possibly going on between Dr. Smith and Lisa.
Oh, I never noticed.
Oh, you didn't?
Oh, yeah. You're right. Sorry, it's been a little bit since I've seen this movie. Yeah, he was like really trying for it. Yeah.
Right, but she seemed open to it. There was clearly an attraction between them. But
I thought it wasn't that she was open to it, but that she was just like, trying to be like do a good job at her, like be nice and be impressive and be like, agreeable. I feel like.
I think they were trying to give us just a little bit of a love triangle. Because people are trying to push O'Shea. People are trying to help him out, and he doesn't really want it.
Yeah.
Like the lady at the inn who's trying to talk him up to Lisa. And I think she's also encouraging O'Shea as well. And, she's trying to kind of set them up. Did his wife die?
Well, she tells
leave
her.
him?
She tells her that his wife dies, but then later on we find out that actually she just met someone else and left him.
Yeah. So I guess she's trying to make him seem more sympathetic.
Yeah. So but we think for like the first half of the movie, like, oh, his wife died. And then when Alice is like, oh, I'm so sorry that your wife's dead. He's like, oh no, she just left me for someone else.
She's just dead to me.
Or Lisa, not Alice, sorry.
Yeah,
she's just dead to me.
But I think they were trying to create a sense of O'Shea being jealous of Smith while at the same time not wanting to acknowledge that he might be jealous of Smith because she and Smith are getting along effortlessly, whereas it's quite an effort for her and O'Shea to get along. So,
Well, she does. Yeah, she's very good at her job. He's not so good at his job. These things do happen. I will say, though, there are so many, like, one-liners in this movie that just cracked me up. Like, at this one point when, like, some guy tries to catcall her, and she's like, you there, what's your name? And he, like, says this long name. She can't pronounce it. She's just like, carry on. And then, like, right after that, someone says, put that cigarette out or I'll use the top of your knob as an ashtray. And I was like, excuse me, what? Like, what? The top of his knob?
He meant his head. Head.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh my word. That is crazy.
He didn't mean the little head. He meant the big head. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I could not believe he said that. I was like, that is wild.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, back to this summary. When Patty, the town drunk, inexplicably survives an attack, the local marine ecologist, Dr. Smith, theorizes that his high blood alcohol content proved toxic to the grabbers, who survive on blood and water. O'Shea contacts the mainland, but an oncoming storm prevents any escape or help. The group also realizes the rain will allow the emerging large male grabber to move about the island freely. Seeking to keep calm in the town, Nolan and O'Shea organize a party at the local pub, intending to keep the island's residents safe, but unaware of the danger. I think this was kind of a bad idea. I think they should have been upfront with people.
So silly. It's just so silly.
I think not getting them all together in the pub is a bad idea, but they should have just told them why they were getting them into the pub. Initially hesitant to join in a celebration when no good reason can be offered, the people enthusiastically agree when Brian Maher, the pub owner, offers free drinks.
I think this is just like skipping so much. It's going so fast. I feel like I'm like reading through my notes and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, jump right in.
Well, I'm just like, the first death we see is like this Cooney guy, right? He like goes on to the like beach to pick up the dead animals or whatever, and the grabber just leaves his head. And I didn't think that was like significant or important. I was just like, oh shit, that's crazy. But then when we get the like chimney like death, and then the grabber like spits out the head, I was like, holy shit. Okay, he just like the grabber just wants the body.
Yeah, there's not enough blood in the head, I guess. It's too hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And also we get these like moments where like Patty goes home and like puts his welding mask on and like goes to check on his sea monster that no one believes him, by the way, that he has.
Of course.
And it's laid an egg, and I'm like, okay. And at this point I'm thinking like, this isn't very kaiju yet. Are they gonna get bigger? But then we find out, oh, it's because like Daddy Kaiju hasn't shown up yet. He's like hiding out.
Yeah.
And we get like the whole like the storm's coming. Oh, that's so funny too. The barkeep lady, she's like, well, there's a storm coming. And Lisa's like, oh, are the gulls flying? No. She's like, no, it was on the telly. Like there's just these little lines throughout the movie that just really fucking hit me. And that's when she tries to talk Lisa into, she's like, hey, if you want the, you know, the suite, now's a good time to book it. If you know, wink, wink, if you're going to meet anybody or, you know, and she's like, no, I'm good. And then she arrests O'Shea because he tries to come on to her.
Yes.
Takes him straight to a jail cell, which I was like, get it, bitch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he comes on to her very drunk. So that she arrests him for, technically she arrests him for being drunk, publicly intoxicated. And
also he couldn't, he passed out before she could find his house. So she probably just didn't know what to do with him.
That's true. She didn't take him she was going to just take him home, but he passed out.
Yes.
So she took him to the jail to try out.
And then Patty wants like an award or a finder's fee for finding the grabbers.
Yes.
And he's like trying to name it. Like, oh, well, I found it. Like, I should be able to name it.
Yeah, Dr. Smith's all like, we can't just call it grabbers. We got to have some scientific. And I discovered it. The discoverer gets to name it. And eventually he does. At some point, he does just give up and say, okay, fine, they're grabbers.
Yeah, you're right. They're grabbers. But there's this like one part where he's like, looking at them, they're all like, they've caught it, you know, they think it might be dead, they're trying to like figure it out, to like make discoveries about it, sciencey things, and it's not dead, and they have to beat it with a bat, which is hysterical because we get this really amazing camera angle where Patty, O'Shea, and Smith are all, and Smith is like hitting it because he's scared, but at one point he kind of like lays back a little bit, and it's just so hysterical. And one of it, like Smith goes like, ugh, and the other guy's like, is that your professional opinion?
Well, I think Smith is also, you know, this is an invaluable scientific specimen. Oh shit, it's trying to kill us. Ah! You know, so he's kind of torn between he would really like to keep it alive, but on the other hand, it's very dangerous.
Yes, and we're like, it's so funny because he's like, you know, doing all these things, and he's like, it's a female, and someone's like, how can you tell? And he's like, well, it's got no testicles. And everyone's kind of like looking around for a second, and he's like, and she was pregnant, and then like opens the top of the little egg like it's a fucking jewelry box.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
How would you describe the grabbers?
They're tentacly, right?
Yes, they're very tentacly.
They kind of have like squid mouth a little bit, but it's kind of like squid mouth meets butthole mouth. Like their mouth is very like buttholey with teeth.
Yeah,
and
they
the tentacles are like several. It's not like, you know, a few or 8 or no. It's like can't count them.
Yeah,
it's too many, moving too fast.
They have a general octopus squid-like appearance, but they're aliens, so they don't quite look like. It's very clear that they're not either octopods or squids or octopuses, or however you want to say it.
Yeah, we do get some good old-fashioned map work too for you bingo players out there. It was very cool when they like slapped that map down. I was like, woo!
I did feel like there was a lot of times when it was reminding me of some of the very early movies of this kind, where
totally,
it's something from outer space. It comes out of the ocean. It's a small town, a village, you know, seaside village. Very much
there's
like
eggs somewhere randomly.
Yeah, like a lot of the really early American and British kaiju movies.
But it definitely has just like a comedic tone.
Yes.
It's kind of like Irish Tremors. It's like Tremors and Gremlins had a baby in Ireland.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we also get some little babies, and they are so cute and angry, and they make little cute noises, and I love it so much.
I thought you would.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, my favorite part of the movie is when it's O'Shea, when the grabber squirts him in the eye and then grabs his face, and he is hitting himself in the face with a shovel. It's so funny. They're like trying to get it off his face, and he's just trying to like smash himself in the face with a shovel. And when they finally get it off, he says, "Vicious little fuck." And I was howling with laughter. Oh, it's so funny. That's when we get the really, really good camera angle of them. They're like smashing it and poking it, and then Smith's like, "Imagine all the things we could have learned. Oh, it's still moving." Whack, whack, and they just like go back to it.
Yeah,
and Patty's like, "I want to help, but I've got a bad back." And I'm like, "Here, Patty. Here. I hear you, bro. Like, I feel it." But that's when they find out that the grabbers are kind of like allergic to drunk people, which is hysterical. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. And I'm like, yeah, what could possibly go wrong? We're gonna lock all of our like selves in, stay out of the rain, drink free drinks. Yeah, I mean, nothing could possibly go wrong here.
So O'Shea volunteers to stay sober so that he can coordinate the town's defenses, and everyone else becomes drunk, including Lisa.
Which she does is drunk so good. She plays the cutest drunk I have ever seen, and it's so realistic, like the things she's saying or like how she laughs. Oh my gosh, I was cracking up, you guys. This movie is so funny in such a like subtle way at some points, and then other points just punch you in the gut. So funny. And
I think they were doing a scientific test sort of to determine how much people needed to drink to have an appropriate level of alcohol in their blood. They're using Lisa as their guinea pig and seeing how many drinks it takes to get what level to be safe, because they want people to be just drunk enough, but not so drunk that they're incapacitated.
Right.
Of course, they don't explain this to their. They don't explain this to the rest of the town.
Anybody.
So.
Yeah, they just go to church, and he's like, "Hey, Fodder, mind if I say a few words?
Yeah.
We're having a bit of a shindig, and you're all coming to join us." Oh, which reminds me of something else. I guess this is an Irish saying, but he says, like, it's a night of the crack, or, like, I don't know. I feel like crack is something very different in Ireland than it is
it doesn't. They don't mean
because
they don't mean crack.
They're
cocaine.
having a crack at it.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I think. Because I think sometimes he says it'll be a crack.
Yeah.
So
or he's like, at one point, he's like, "I do it for the crack."
Yeah.
Like crack of it.
Yeah. So I think they mean a good time. Fun. Crack is fun.
Crack is not fun, kids.
You
did not hear it here.
You know what I'm saying. I do it for the fun of it. It'll be fun is what they mean when they say it'll be a crack.
Yeah. Yeah, so they just walk into this church and they're like, "Hey, everybody." Oh, but when they're trying to decide that they're going to do this, the barkeep's wife is like, "What are y'all talking about?" And they're like, "Nothing." And she like has this look, and then she walks off, and he's like, "Great, her birthday is next week, and now she thinks we're like planning this party for her."
Yeah. Oh, it's probably similar derivation to like "crack me up."
Okay.
Something that cracks you up is a crack. Anyway, who knows? You can never pin down slang.
Yes. But I love this point where Lisa is drunk and she's like trying to convince people to come to this party, and she's like, "It's a welcome party." And the girl's like, "Well, you're about to leave." And she's like, "Well, it's a goodbye party." And the lady's like, "But you're like, we haven't even been here that long." And she just goes, "What's her fucking problem? Like, why won't this lady shut the fuck up?"
Yeah. So yeah, they do manage to get everybody to come to the pub and start getting drunk. I'm going back to the summary. In a drunken stupor, Nolan reveals that she has come to the island to escape the shadow of her more favored sister. When they are alone in the squad car, Nolan reveals to O'Shea that she has feelings for him, despite turning down his advances earlier. Smith wanders outside the pub and tries to get a picture of the beast, reasoning that his inebriated state will protect him from being eaten. Instead,
Smith, how wrong you are, my friend.
Instead, the monster throws him into the air and kills him. So it doesn't eat him, but it still kills him.
Yeah,
Nolan
just yeets him
just
into
to
the
be
ocean.
mean, just for the crack of it, I guess. Nolan and O'Shea escape to the pub where they try to protect the townspeople. Nolan drunkenly reveals the danger they are in while trying to reassure everyone that nothing is trying to kill them.
Yeah, oh my God. I love that part. She's like, don't worry, everyone. Everything's fine. Nothing is trying to kill you. And everyone's like, what?
What's trying to kill us? Nothing. Panicked, they retreat to the second level of the pub, and baby grabbers take over the first floor. Nolan accidentally sets the pub on fire while trying to sneak out, but she and O'Shea manage to draw the attention of the adult. O'Shea and Nolan drive to a construction site, and the monster follows them. There they hope to strand the monster on dry land as it needs water to survive. Before they can successfully set a trap, the monster arrives and attacks O'Shea. Although wounded, he survives the attack, and Nolan uses the heavy construction equipment to mount a counterattack, pinning it at the base of a pit. The monster grabs O'Shea, but before it can eat him, he dumps a bottle of Paddy's Poitin into its mouth. Oh yeah, Paddy's making his own bootleg whiskey at home. Oh, it's actually a traditional Irish distilled beverage, but yeah, he's making it's homemade. There's an issue about that at one point. The bartender, he's like, "What are you doing, bringing your hooch into my bar?" And let's see. So he pours it into his mouth, sickening it and causing it to release him. Nolan then ignites nearby explosives with a flare gun, killing the grabber. As the storm clears up, O'Shea throws away his flask, and they return to town. Unknown to anyone, more grabber eggs are buried on the beach, and they are about to hatch. Bum,
Of
bum,
course they are.
So we
have to talk about Jim's death, though. Jim is the guy who just randomly goes outside to pee in the rain.
Right.
Jim, you drunk son of a bitch, get your ass in the bathroom.
Well,
why are you going outside to pee in the rain?
Someone else was in the bathroom, that's why. And
He couldn't hold it?
No,
Pee in
well,
a fake plant?
The thing is, he's one of the people that knows what's going on, but he's also drunk, so
Yeah.
he goes outside to pee.
And the daddy just grabbers him right up. And his death is pretty cool, but he also leaves his head, which is hilarious. And then the poor, drunken, sweet baby angel starts reading the kaiju his Miranda rights, which I just thought was hysterical. And then the car alarm is going off, like the sirens for the cop car.
Yeah.
And the grabber said, "Fuck the police," and just smashed that cop car.
Yeah, he did not like the noises.
Yeah, I just love Lisa. She's so good.
I didn't make any notes, but I think, didn't they establish earlier when they went to the construction site earlier that one of them knew how to control the crane?
Oh, I don't remember that, but I do remember when they were making the plan that they all are pulling out these weapons, and Patty's like, "I got a pellet gun," and he's like, "What the hell are you gonna do with that?" And he's like, "Shoot pellets," but I don't have any pellets. And then the bartender, and then the Smith is like, "I got a flare gun," and then the bartender's like, got this super soaker, plastic super soaker gun. They're like, "That's a water gun. It thrives on water." And he's like, "It's a water gun if you put water in it, but if you put petrol in it, it's a flamethrower," which ends up obviously not working.
Yes.
But it's hysterical when he runs out into the rain and tries to make this little tiny plastic gun. He's like, it's like a pump action, so he's just standing there trying to pump it.
It is literally a super soaker, and he's strapped a wick to the front of it so he can make it throw flame. But
so
he should have
funny.
just put booze in it though, because they're allergic to booze, and just tried to shoot it into
Well, they
the
talked
things.
about that, but they were like, that is a waste of booze. And that is where the Irish stereotype
Right.
comes in of, yeah, they
Right.
could have done that, but they were like, no way, we can't waste it.
Yeah.
We have to drink it and then
That's
risk
right.
our lives so that the grabber will then try to eat us and then we will in turn kill them.
Right.
Oh, I love the babies so much.
Honeybee, what do you
And I love. Hold on, we got to talk about when they're like trying to figure out what they're gonna do, and they're like, "Why don't you just feed Father Potts into it?" And then the father walks up and says, "I beg your pardon." He's like, "Oh, sorry, Father." He's like, "Let's just feed the fucking father to it." He's like, "Hey, what the hell?" Like he just found out that they're trying to be killed, and they're already trying to kill him off. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Let's see. Oh, and then they give her a nail gun. And she's drunk, and she just pulls the trigger. It goes right between their heads. Oh my gosh. I was laughing so hard. And when she's like trying to, save them, they have to send her because she's like the drunk person who can do it. She's drunk. So she's kind of stumbling around goofily, and she sees a bowl full of peanuts and just grabs a handful, shoves them into her mouth. And then the rest of the scene is just chewing peanuts, just like trying to kill these babies. Accidentally starts the jukebox, which is chef's kiss. So good. And someone upstairs is like, "Oh, I love this song." It's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Part of her thing is that she doesn't normally drink either, so
Right.
She's-
Yeah. She's never been drunk before, ever.
yeah. Oh, did she say that? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, she does. I will say my second favorite part of the movie is when she is saving O'Shea in the like big equipment, and she screams to the grabber, "Get away from him, you cunt!" And I was like, yes, I love it. I love this movie so much. And I had this thought too. I'm like, I wonder if she'll still like him when she's sober. And I'm gonna say in movie magic, yes. In reality, no. But we're not in reality, so that's okay. That's okay. We'll just celebrate in movie magic. I'm cool with that because I fucking love them together.
Yeah. Well, I think he's gonna sober up.
Yeah,
has
he does.
a
He like
reason.
throws his flask
Yeah.
out. He's done drinking.
Yeah.
She's gonna take time off work. He's gonna quit drinking. And he says the cutest thing to her. She's like, "I'm gonna take some time off work," and he says, "If you lived here, you'd be home already." And I was like, oh my god, I love them so much. They just did such a great job of being just like stone cold drunk weirdos falling in love. It was so good. I love this movie. And then of course we see the eggs that are like left behind, and it's like, well, of course it has to.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't end the movie without it.
Yeah. Well, it's a classic monster movie ending. A classic.
Yes.
The end, or is it?
Or is it question mark the end? Question mark.
So,
That was
Honeybee, what are you
so
gonna
good.
rate? What are you gonna rate Grabbers?
5 stars for Grabbers for me. Even though there was only like 3 deaths, I think, maybe throughout the whole film. Like, it was just so good. It was so funny. It was the crack. Am I saying that right?
I
It
think
was so much crack.
I think it was a crack. I think it was
Okay,
a
okay.
crack. I think it was a crack. It was a real crack. It was
Yeah.
a cracking good time.
It was. Oh, I loved it so much.
I'll give it 5 as well.
Yeah, I feel
Sure.
like, man, this is such a gem. It's such a good mix between like kaiju, sci-fi, comedy, horror film type. Like, it's just such a good blend of everything, and I just think they really fucking nailed it with the comedy. And like I said, the acting is so good. You know how like you like movies, but the acting, you can tell they're acting, and it's fine because it's a silly comedy. So it's like fine that you can tell that. This movie, I feel like every single person who was going through whatever they were going through in this movie believed it with their whole heart, because the acting was so good. Even when the craziest, weirdest shit is happening, I just really believed the emotions coming out of these people, and it was so funny. It made me laugh so hard. I love this movie so much, and I literally cannot wait to watch it again. So funny.
Well, folks, if you haven't seen it, we thought at first it was going to be hard to find, but then it turned out it was on YouTube, free with ads.
Oh, I have a YouTube. I didn't have any ads.
Maybe it wasn't ads. Maybe there weren't ads. It was on YouTube though. It looked
it's
like
on YouTube.
It looked like we were going to have to pay for it, and then it was on YouTube, and it seemed like it was an official thing. Well, it
definitely was.
You pay for YouTube, so maybe I had ads. I really can't remember now.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, but I also love when movies that we watch are on YouTube because I love reading the comments.
Oh yeah, I didn't read any of them. What did they say? Yes,
so many people were like, there was not a single negative comment. They were all just like, oh my gosh, this movie is so good. It was so much better than I expected. And honestly, same. Especially the first, half of the movie, I could feel the comedy and I'm like, oh, this is cute. This is funny. Ha ha ha. But by the time shit really started going, I was in stitches. Like, I was laughing so hard. I was laughing my ass off. There's so many great one-liners. And I think there's just something about like the way that Irish people talk and say things differently than we do. Like at one point, someone says, hold on, I wrote it in my notes. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, he says, God shite, like instead of God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. It just made me laugh. It made me laugh so hard. It was such a joy watching this movie, and I cannot wait to share it with the people I love most. So big recommend. Please watch it and let us know what you think, because I just feel like this is such a hidden, I've never even heard of this film, not even once. So I just feel like it's such a good, like when you find a restaurant that's really good and nobody knows about it, and you want to let people, like, you want your friends to eat there. That's right. Very much like, please come and eat with me at Grabbers. It's so good.
Yeah, I only knew about it because it was on the list that I found when we first started doing this. So
I am so glad that it was on the list because, so much joy.
I guess I should, once we posted this episode, put the link to it in the YouTube comments.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because we're on YouTube now, folks. If you want to listen to us on YouTube, we're going to try to start adding more video, but we've only got 1 or 2 videos up. But they're still audio, but on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So there you go. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please consider subscribing. Everybody, wherever you're listening, rate and review us, like and subscribe. And if you really like us, come over to our Patreon at patreon.com/mmftg to get early episodes and exclusive episodes, and just to help us quit our day jobs.
Yeah, just come hang out with us. Just come hang out with us. Watch some movies, sit back, laugh, maybe roll your eyes, maybe not. We get some goodies.
Next week's movie is not so much a hidden gem. It is
well.
Two-headed shark attack. The first of several multi-headed shark movies.
Ay.
Give you one guess where that movie came from.
Does it rhyme with Babilum?
Yeah, I believe it does, yes. So there you go, folks. Thanks for joining us. We will be back soon with another episode. Until then, remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements.
And please don't misuse science.
We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
Happy New Year!
You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please consider rating and reviewing us on your podcasting platform of choice. You can leave us a message and find links to all our things at mmftg.com.